This Saints offseason could have gone horribly wrong. Instead, they made the offseason that defines their team for the next couple of years. Entering this offseason, there was heavy uncertainty surrounding the Saints. There were $75 million over in cap space. It was kind of clear Marcus Williams and Teron Armstead would be gone. Jameis Winston was also a free agent, so who knows if they clear enough to get him back, and who knows if they can even restructure enough to get back to that threshold. They may have to cut or trade someone very important, such as Ryan Ramczyk or Marshawn Lattimore, potentially even Michael Thomas, who did not play the season prior, and it was uncertain if he was going to come back. And what they did this offseason instead was clear $110 million in cap space, re-sign Jameis Winston, promote from within for their head coach, and add a lot of talent during the draft at a hefty cost, but I believe the Saints murdered this offseason. And I would like to start off with the quarterback position in Jameis Winston. Getting him back for 2 years, $28 million is one hell of a deal considering they went 5-2 with him as the starting quarterback last season. That, in my opinion, $14 million per year for a guy who went 5-2, although we don't know how it is for a full season. That's a very good deal, and what they did to help out his receiving core was, you could argue, even more important. I don't think it is, but for a guy who went 5-2 with Traquan Smith and Marquez Callaway, nowadays having Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, and most importantly Michael Thomas is incredibly better than what they had last season. We don't know the Alvin Kamara situation. It's kind of assumed he'll be able to play. We've seen a lot of football players kind of get away with this stuff before. But what the Saints did to help out their offense, following what their defense did the last 5 games last season, if the defense can be buzzing and if the offense can be buzzing, this team is humming. I don't think it's a division winner considering the Buccaneers, but you're competing for that 5 or 6 wild card spot. Now, as I alluded to earlier, it was kind of assumed that Teron Armstead and Marcus Williams were both gone. They wanted a lot of money. Saints didn't have that money. They had to reassure the quarterback first. Fair enough. What they did to replace those guys, in my opinion, was aggressive, ballsy, and very impressive to me. In the case of Marcus Williams, going out and signing Marcus May pretty early on was alright, there's nothing too wrong with that. But then later getting Teron Armstead, the Honey Badger, that's a lot damn better. That safety group now with Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu to complement Marshawn Lattimore is very impressive. And it becomes even more impressive in my opinion when you consider the Saints head coach hiring, promoting from within and promoting defensive coordinator Dennis Allen following probably 16, 17 years of Sean Payton. I think Dennis Allen was a great hiring because he's worked with Sean Payton since 2015, and what that defense did at the end of last season, allowing 59 total points in 5 games, and going 4-1 in said games with Taysom Hill or Trevor Siemian at starting quarterback, was very impressive to say the least. That's very obvious. What they did there was awesome. I think their replacement for the safeties was great. They still obviously have Cameron Jordan. Hopefully Peyton Turner can be healthy for a full season so we can see that first round pick potential kind of materialize some. And yeah, I think this defense is looking pretty damn good, especially with Dennis Allen running the ship now. The offense, I talked about it before, but the receiver group helped Jameis Winston out a lot. 5-2 with a pretty bad receiving core. Now you got a pretty damn good one in Alvin Kamara. You're looking pretty good. Now, the one clear downside to the offense following last season was the loss of Teron Armstead. That was not pretty. Anytime you lose a franchise left tackle, no matter what you do, it will not be pretty, but I think they did the best thing that they could. They did overpay for an extra first round pick. I'll say it. I don't think it's the fleece that people were making it out to be. I think you can pretty much chalk it up to a first and a second and a late third for an extra first round pick when the Saints, they're in win now mode. They want reinforcements now. And yes, was it an overpayment? I agree, but it's not this crazy, oh my god, the Eagles, they fleeced them, yada yada. I think it was a good trade for both sides. And what the Saints did during the draft, trading up to the number 11 spot, giving up a mid-4th plus a late 3rd to get one of the best receivers in the draft class, in my opinion, in that tier A of receivers being Drake London, Chris Olave, and Jamison Williams, you got one of those guys. And I mean, you can only assume that he was the Saints front office's guy, given the trade up. So I think they did a fantastic job there. They got Trevor Penning. You could say they overpaid in both trades, but you cannot deny that the Saints want to win now, and they did exactly what they needed to do that. Giving up those picks won't mean a damn thing if the team is pretty good and Trevor Penning and Chris Olave hit, which obviously we do not know if that will happen, but I think the Saints will be good enough to make up for the overpayments in those trades. What the Saints did this offseason was incredibly underrated. They gave up a lot, but the reinforcements they got immediately after being $75 million over in cap, there was so much uncertainty surrounding this team, and now, in my opinion, obviously we have no idea how the team's going to be, but the Saints are one of the most consistent teams in football, and with Dennis Allen as head coach now, I believe they will continue that consistency. Obviously, losing Sean Payton is good for nobody, but I think the Saints were able to keep up talent-wise with the losses of the talent in Marcus Williams and Teron Armstead. I think this Saints squad had a great offseason. I'm really excited to watch them this year, and I do expect them to compete for the 5th or 6th wild card spot, maybe even potentially with the Buccaneers, but that's pretty high hopes. So, yeah, that's going to do it for me today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Comment if I'm dead on or dead wrong. I think the Saints did great, but on the other hand, it could go pretty bad considering the loss of draft picks. But I don't think it will. I think they got 2 good prospects. That's going to do it for me today. Hope you enjoyed and have a great one.